At first sight, the whole monster story looks like a fairy tale. After the expedition to Lake Brosno, I do believe that the place is actually mysterious. Stories told by witnesses prove this opinion. We met with local people who were perfectly sane and adequate. What is more, all legends about the mysterious monster trace their roots back to the old times. I'm sure that legends and rumors cannot arise from nothing. Hello!
Welcome back. No, I just realized.
What did you just realize?
Do you know what episode this is?
I wouldn't say 8, but I'm wrong every time.
I know. That's why I laughed. I was like, oh man, we talked about doing this initially.
Discussing beforehand? Is it 8?
I gotta fucking pull it up now, dude.
It's not gonna be.
Brosno Dragon 8.
Yes, okay. Yes, today we're talking about the Brosno Dragon. I'm sure you saw it already in the name of the episode.
You also might have heard the mention of Lake, or Brosno Lake.
Lake
might
Brosno,
have triggered that in the intro there.
Triggered. So we had originally kind of talked about doing lake monsters as one whole episode. After doing research on this one, that maybe would have been the way to go, but it's too late, and we're already on the bridge, so let's just get over it and, not look back.
Let's learn about everything we can learn about the Brosno Dragon.
AKA Brosnia.
This next one is my favorite. Brosny. Knocking off Nessie.
It's rude.
The way to go with lake monsters, I guess.
The Champy and
there's more.
Ogopogo. It's not unique at all.
It's
a hoagie bun.
They just call him Ogie.
Ogie.
That's not a thing. You heard it here first.
Maybe when I get a dog, I'll name him Ogie.
It's a great dog name.
Ogie's a pretty cool dog name. Everyone's gonna think you're saying hoagie though, and it's like,
also a great
did you
dog
name
name.
your dog after a sandwich? Fuck yeah, bro! I love me some buns.
Yeah, I work in a bakery.
All right, so like we mentioned, the Brosno Dragon is a lake monster.
You guessed it, from the Brosno
Lake
Lake.
Brosno, which is in West Russia, about 250 miles north of Moscow.
It's about a 279-mile drive.
279 miles, you say?
Yeah, a short 6 hours.
Hey, no big.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like driving to Chicago from here. We're really not far from Chicago.
No. In relation to the rest of the country.
In relation to like anywhere else worth going?
That's close, for sure.
Anywhere else worth going?
3 to 6, like 3 if you're going south.
Anywhere
Anywhere else?
Minneapolis in a few hours.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's sort of worth going to. It's better than anything in Iowa, for sure.
That's true.
Mall of America and stuff. We're probably going to cut all this out anyway, because I don't know what our listenership is in Minnesota, but not trying to cut those ties. Cool. Let's talk about what it looks like.
There's not a lot of differing descriptions here.
Pretty much everything on like the 8 pages that I sifted through, eight pages on the internet of my search engine that I sifted through, looking at everything, is the exact same content.
I literally went to the last page of Brosno Dragon on Google, and it was the same as the first.
I started searching the different names and stuff. We kind of talked about like maybe there's some stuff in Russian somewhere that we're just not. It's not pulling on the search results or whatever.
If you're from Russia,
if you
want to translate, that would be sweet.
Got any after this? If you know of some stories that we missed, like
shoot us an email.
Please send us our way, because I feel like there's more to this one than we can find.
Yeah. I don't know. We haven't done a whole lot out of English-speaking places. So hopefully we don't run into this thing in the future.
Well, I feel like the Mekele Membe, that one is, I feel like there's a bunch on that one, and that's Like the Congo,
Because
right?
American people found it, or English people found.
Oh, when they were fucking.
I don't know, maybe not. I guess.
And I feel like those are like native stories about the
I'm sure
creature.
there's native stories about it. You're right. This isn't.
It's
it's just
discussion
a
for like
podcast.
maybe 3 weeks away. It's all like 16 feet long.
Yeah, a lot of 16-foot encounters, I guess. I don't know if there's an encounter that's like, this is how I know that it's 16 feet, but it's just like general knowledge in that village.
Yeah, again, like everything is just
16
it's
feet?
like, yeah, that's I never saw. They talked about like photos and like, yeah, she showed us the photos. I was like, why didn't you include the photos?
Yeah.
Where are they? Where's
Nowhere,
any of these?
nowhere has the photos.
Nowhere did I see a single photo. So now that I did not see it, let me tell you what it looked like. 16 feet long, covered in scales, resembles a dragon or dinosaur with a fish/serpent-like head.
Also bioluminescent.
Yeah, I saw bioluminescent on a couple of places and like iridescent, like
glowing.
it glows. What the fuck is that about?
Yep. I don't know.
It's suspected to be reptilian, of course, because it looks like a dragon or a dinosaur, but some people believe that it is unlikely to live in such a cold climate if it is a reptile. So some people are suggesting it's a mammal of some kind.
That's fair.
Which seems weird as hell.
Dinosaurs.
Do dinosaurs live in cold weather?
Yeah,
like the
hell
Earth was
yeah, they
warmer.
do. I'm sure they lived in, like, I guess it's Russia. It's pretty fucking cold. It's a good point. I don't know. Something lived there.
I mean, fish live there, so like it's clearly not impossible for things to live.
Right. Don't know.
Or maybe it's
plesiosaur.
You know what I mean?
Are they mammals?
No,
they lay eggs.
They were marine reptiles.
True. So it's presumably a fish of some sort. Ancient fish, new fish, red fish, blue fish.
Said to capsize boats, and once during World War II allegedly ate a Nazi plane.
Bam. Take that, Hitler.
It seems like that would be difficult for a 16-foot long thing to do.
Very low flying.
A very low flying
its
plane.
Its mouth is 16 feet, and the rest of its body is just under its mouth. And just
okay, so what you're posing is that this is the iceberg of cryptozoology.
100%.
They think it's 16 feet long, but
It's
underneath
just
the
its
water,
mouth.
its belly just descends into the depths.
Yep.
It's actually the size of the Kraken.
So imagine it's another Star Wars reference. When the Millennium Falcon goes into the asteroid, and it's actually a mouth instead of a hole, like they thought.
Yes.
It's that with water.
Others theorize, I guess it could be a mutant beaver or a 100 to 150-year-old pike, like a fish.
Yeah.
Like a really big pike that has lived for a long time, so it's really big. But also, why the fuck is mutant beavers not like a thing that is everywhere that I can safely search on the internet?
I didn't even think about that, but yeah. I think definitely need a mutant beaver cryptid podcast. Like, we're going to cover it.
Should just have been the name of this podcast instead of Counting Cryptids. Welcome back to the Mutant Beaver Podcast.
I like the way that sounds. I feel like we'd have to like live in a log cabin though.
Okay.
Like a red-green type show.
And remember, if ladies don't find you handy,
handsome.
They should find you handsome.
If they don't find you, oh, I got you. That's our slogan. If women do find you handsome,
women don't find you handsome. At
it's
least
time to get
they'll think
handsy.
you're fucking weird.
It's time to get handsy. We now have a slogan for the podcast.
What do you mean? We already have some.
What are they?
The one that I think is actually the slogan is "This is becoming the worst podcast."
Why isn't that in all of our descriptions?
So join us as we discover why this is quickly becoming the worst podcast. Oh, I guess there's the section for how to become Stop Encounter.
As always,
you don't become Encounter. I mean, you'd have to go to that lake.
Mermaids was the first one in a while that's had some decent information on how to become. I would enjoyed that with last episode.
Yeah.
But
with
most of these are like animals, man.
It appears to be a thing that exists. Because how would you kill one of these? The same way you'd kill anything else? You'd drown it?
I don't know.
Always explosions.
I want to come back to this at the end.
Okay.
Depending on a couple of views, I think it depends on how.
Well, let's dive into some stories then. What do you got for me?
Well, we got to go way back.
Way back to the 13th century?
Possibly the 8th.
Yeah, I saw that in a couple of places.
We're going with the 13th. It was overall.
I saw 13th on more sites and sites that seemed more reliable.
100%. So in the 13th century, our good friend Batu Khan of the Tatar, the leader of the Tatar Mongol army, heading from I think they're headed towards Novgorod. Hope I'm pronouncing these right. It's Russian. I don't speak Russian. But the army stopped near the shore of Lake Brosno to rest, replenish, let the horses drink out of the lake. When all of a sudden, this giant monster attacked, presumably the Brosno dragon. I don't know, like when it first started calling the Brosno dragon. Like if these were like the story of this is like, yeah, this is the Brosno dragon, or
if they have a name for it specifically.
That's what I'm wondering. If they came up with a name, or if they're just like, there was a fucking monster and ate us.
Again, every fucking resource on there was, if it wasn't all copied directly from one of the other, everything pretty much was copied from Wikipedia or just like rewritten from the Wikipedia. It was picking the bones dry.
Yeah.
Don't think that's a saying.
I'm milking this one out for all that it is. But so the Brosno dragon.
Bones dry. What do you dry out? You pick bones clean.
Yeah.
Boy, I am. All right. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're all
getting
spacey in here. You flying by and get chomped by. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
For all the listeners watching, you know exactly what just happened.
All the listeners watching.
Yep. But the monster. So allegedly, the Brosno dragon ate their horses and soldiers, and so the remaining troops were apparently so afraid that they bailed. They were headed to Novgorod to conquer it, presumably, and it was saved. The day was saved by the Brosno dragon yet again. I'm just saying he's a good guy.
I think this was the first instance of that we know of him saving the day.
Yeah, straight out of the gate, being a nice guy.
Boom. I mean, not really, because he's eating people, but I mean, the Mongols were like...
He's obviously on the good side, not Mongols.
Not good.
I don't know if there's a definition of not good at that point. Also, we mentioned the world conflict too.
No, we did not mention world conflict too.
Okay,
oh,
good.
You mean World War II? Yes, I did briefly mention World War II.
This story is not much longer than what we alluded to earlier. German plane, lake monster, the end.
World Conflict 2. See, the thing with that one is I also saw a fascist plane.
Okay, you just bend it to whatever your culture needs.
So this one comes from the PineBaronsinstitute.com. Another legend within the area tells the story of a group of Vikings that had stolen a large amount of treasure and were searching the area for a place to hide it. When they came upon Lake Brosno, they noticed a small island in the middle of the water. Feeling that it was the perfect place to hide their treasure, the Vikings loaded it into a small boat and set out towards the island. As they were nearing the shoreline, it is said that the large dragon appeared from below the surface and got between the island and the Vikings. Terrified of the monster before them, the Vikings attempted to row back to the main shore, but their efforts were in vain. The dragon opened its mouth and swallowed the warriors whole, boat and all.
Boom.
Again, it seems like, how would a 16-foot dragon swallow all of them in one bite? But Or a whole, I guess it doesn't say one bite, but I assume whole boat and all is just like done.
Yeah.
That's sorry
what I picture
for that noise. Why don't you move on to 1986 or 66 or
1966? Apparently a tourist went to see the lake for some reason.
For the purposes of seeing the lake.
Yeah,
when in Russia, when in Moscow, you can't miss the opportunity to drive 279 miles north to Lake Baikal.
Yeah, it's only 6 hours.
This is not Lake Baikal. This is Lake Brosno. What the fuck is Baikal?
That's that other lake, the bubble lake when the USOs.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know why she went to the lake. I don't know if there was like she was drawn by there being maybe a
There was a surf competition.
Okay.
In a lake.
In Russia.
In the middle of winter.
So this lady's, checking out the lake, and her son's checking out the lake. I guess there's a son there. There could be other family members. This
S-O-N.
is very S-O-N. Not the sun. Not the star that we rotate around. While enjoying their vacation, the son all of a sudden screams out that there's a dragon in the lake. Mom, there's a dragon in the lake.
The floor is lava.
Well, my kid says that all the damn time. I can see my son if he knew, 6 years old, my son's going to be 5. If he knew there was supposed to be dragons in the lake, he would fuck with me and say there's a dragon in the lake, 100%.
Yeah.
But
little turd.
Apparently, this lady got a picture.
That is impossible to find?
It's nowhere. She ate it, probably, and died with it inside of her. Only way it could have gotten away.
I have never... The only things I've seen as far as photos is like the water with something swimming on top of the water that does not look large. It looks like a fucking beaver swimming through the water.
Is that the picture of a newspaper picture?
No, that one, there's a photo of a picture in a newspaper where there is like the lake and there's something swimming in the water. It's hard to tell how big it is because part of what it is could be the wake.
Yeah.
From where it was swimming. There's a part where you can kind of see the wake on the other side. It kind of looks like part of it is that. I'm not 100% sure. However, I can't use this as definitive evidence to be like, no, you see?
It could literally be a log. It's so grainy.
Yeah, that one's really, really hard to tell. And the only other photos I've seen are either like super fucking fake or an otter.
Or hand drawn.
This one is a rock. They circled a rock.
The Brosno dragon rock.
The Brosno rock. Brosnocalypse.
What's that one? Something Brock? The wrestler dude. Brock something.
The Rock? Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
No.
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. I wanted to make it Bros something. This last sighting, I guess, is less physical sighting. This one kind of throws me.
Okay.
It gets me thinking. Like, I'll go through it and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
This is where I wanted to bring back how to encounter kill one. Yeah. So in 2002, after a ton of reports of animals fitting the description of Brosnia swimming near the shore, sorry for this, the Cosmopoisk Research Association did some deep echo deep sounding. They did some echo location on the
like
thing.
Some sonar where they send sound
like pretty
down.
Much probably like a fish tracker
and
type
it comes
thing.
back up and it shows the geography of the lake.
Yeah.
So you can see how
that
deep
would be
it goes
swimming in
and
there.
anything inside there. Yeah.
So they're set out to look for this thing. It's not like they're just doing it for other scientific purposes and captured this thing, which this Vadim Chernobrov, the coordinator for this team, discussed in a newspaper or something in Russia, saying that there was an anomaly on the echo sounding records, and he described that it was a huge kelp-like mass the size of a rail car. 5 meters above the bottom.
Pretty big.
Very deep as well, I believe. I think it's a pretty deep crevasse. They pretty much didn't see it do anything. It was motionless for a while, and they thought it would be a good idea to throw small explosives into the water to, I don't know, wake it up, I guess.
Like I said before, explosives. How you do it.
So after they threw the explosives in there, they saw it slowly rise to the surface, and they watched the water, and it did nothing. Like he mentioned that it was like unusually still, but nothing ever like breached the surface. So I think that one's a little weird.
The creature started slowly going up when we stared at the water, and it was clear there was nothing resembling a monster. However, something unusual was still left in the lake water.
Is this a picture of it? Brosno glob is what the thing says.
Yeah, there's the picture of the globster.
That's the globster?
Allegedly.
Oh.
Also, I just found this photo.
That looks like a rock.
A really hairy rock. So I found this photo.
This picture
of the globster?
Yeah. It's a rock.
But it washed ashore. A rock doesn't wash ashore.
It
Not
looks
that
like
size.
it's washing ashore, but instead it's pulling the sand around it away.
Maybe.
I'm not a scientist, but that's my fucking theory on that picture, at least.
Interesting. I
It's a
see
rock,
this.
dude.
It's like a drawing, a representation of. I don't know
like
if
a
it's
plesiosaur
specifically
or something?
but the back feet are like toes and stuff. I kind of would put more stock into that being like a real thing and being like what the Duarku was, is like full on flippers, a tail, like
A water creature.
I some of these it fucking piss me off because there's so little on them that I just like I can't put my heart into saying yeah, I think that's actually that's something that's out there.
Yeah.
This one was kind of rough anyway, but it'll give us like something to fall back on maybe when we talk about other lake monsters, or maybe if we just kind of like overall lake monsters, we'll talk about this one a little bit in there too. I know we'll for sure have to give some of them their own.
I'd really like to do an addendum to this episode. I'd really like somebody to send me some information that I could not find on the internet.
I had a real hard time finding anything that was like specifically Brosno that was a photo or anything with any kind of weight. That wasn't just like, yeah, a kid said that there was a fucking dragon in there and his mom got a picture.
The pictures...
And there's no picture?
Non-existent.
It's a picture of a beaver.
Is it all the village's idea to get tourists there?
You never talked about the volcano.
No, there's two things. I would...
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I guess
we've got
we're
a couple of things
down to that point, I think.
Yeah, to you
So
know,
if you've got,
is it
if
real?
you've got some arguments to sway me either direction, let's hear them.
We talked about giant mutant beavers before.
Yes, we did. Teenage Mutant Ninja Beavers.
Apparently, that isn't a cryptid. I just don't understand that.
Why mutant beaver isn't cryptid?
Yeah,
Because
like, if is it not a cryptid if it's a mutant beaver?
yeah, because it's just a beaver, but it's a mutant.
I guess it's a species of...
You're treading a line here, Connor, that is very thin.
I want to do a mutant beaver episode. I don't want to say this is the best hypothesis against it, but it's a hypothesis nonetheless. So every once in a while, there's wild boars and elk that cross a lake, and so this could be
a misidentification of a fucking
giant 16-foot fucking thing. That's like two fucking elk.
Elk are fucking massive.
Yeah,
terrifyingly huge.
But I think the people in this area would be used to seeing these. Like we don't, I don't know in person how big a fucking elk is. It's a screaming horse. That is horrifying.
That's just an elk.
I'm gonna go back on Wendigo and say that could be the sound.
Just an elk out there in the rut.
Yep. Screaming.
They make some pretty terrifying sounds.
Why must you be scary, nature?
Damn, nature.
It was scary. Okay, so besides those three things, it could be a beaver, boar, or elk. There's like this scientific hypothesis that points to hydrogen sulfide.
Creating a dragon?
Creating a thought. And I thought makes people in the village think there's a dragon.
What?
Okay, so like it boils up at the bottom of the lake for some reason. I don't know how hydrogen sulfide is made. Probably some volcanic activity, which is another hypothesis. So the bubbles, rise to the surface, and it's like something's coming out of the water.
So they made up a dragon because the water boiled?
Essentially, yeah.
So is that also like Megalodon and Kraken when the water boils, but they're also seeing things?
Yeah.
So the water happens to be bubbling when that's going on, and there's like an otter swimming by, and they're like, whoa!
Or somebody came up with the story like way before and was like, there's a dragon in there, look at that, to scare somebody. And then that get passed on through the generations, and it's just, you get that in your head, and then you see it, yeah. Convince yourself there's actually one in there.
It's the kind of thing that's like, you tell all the children that so they don't go too deep into the water.
It's like going to church.
How is it that we equate cryptozoology and religion in like every episode?
We're very religious people. The volcano that I mentioned.
Yes, the aforementioned volcano.
Some volcano theories. So there might be a volcano deep in the bottom. I think this is similar to the last one. And it could be tied together because I don't know what volcanoes make. If they make hydrogen sulfide, sounds plausible.
Sure. I'm not a scientist, but that's fine.
Again, yes, not scientists. But the volcano erupts from time to time, bubbling to the surface, And I think lava rock might be, it's porous.
It's very porous.
Does it float? I would assume air gets trapped inside during the process. It's turning stuff to gas, and that gas is getting stuck in the rock.
I used to have a bunch of lava rocks.
I think lava rock floats. That's why you get islands. Totally.
Yeah.
Some lava rocks actually float. Pumice specifically is the name of the lava rock.
What is
pumice? So I'm picturing like volcano erupts. There's some pumice, and it floats to the top of the water, and it kind of boils, and then there's this big black mass. Could be.
So the water is boiling, and all of a sudden this big black something goes bloop, and then back down or something.
Yeah,
I saw it at one part, like it was making some appearances, like being scary, and then at one point in time, it just like simmered down.
Yeah, it was just like I'm taking a break.
I don't really care anymore. I'm just gonna hang out and swim back and forth and enjoy the water. And then like people would get like they would approach the water, and then it would scare it down. It wouldn't show up for a few days. And then it would just be back like swimming around, just minding its own business,
chilling,
just doing whatever. So like it's a weird context for a monster to be in, to like where people are just like going to the lake to see what the monster's doing today kind of thing.
I don't know if that's a thing though. I'm putting that out there because I would assume like I'm sure there's like a Nessie, like Nessie's known for having Loch Ness Monster. I'm sure there's like memorabilia there. I wonder if this is similar. Maybe not on such a large scale, but
I don't know.
I'm not Russian. To be helpful to be Russian at this point in time. Could know what, like, maybe it's like all throughout Russia, people just know the story and they're like, oh,
in Soviet
maybe
Russia,
someday
lake swims you.
Lake eats you. Yeah. That's about all I got there.
Yeah, if you have some more information, would love any of that to be sent our way.
Yeah. I want to give a quick shout out to cryptopia.us, which is where I got a lot of my information from.
There's some good stuff on there.
Yeah. And it's run by the guys at the Cryptonauts podcast, which is a podcast about cryptids. You didn't guess?
Weird.
They came out right about the same time we did. I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, except they have more episodes than we do.
Yeah, they go weekly. We do not.
We do not have that kind of energy.
Yeah, or time.
Yeah, we got jobs and wives.
I'm sure they have jobs.
Kids. No, damn it.
They have wives.
Just give me
and
my
kids.
excuse, damn it. Let me be lazy.
Yeah, we're lazy as fuck.
I play video
no
games all the
excuses,
time.
bro.
I'm sorry. I have time. I could be doing things, but it doesn't matter.
Nobody pays us to do this. Once you start paying, I'll start putting out.
just need to wine and dine Connor a little bit, folks.
Yeah, come on. If you're thinking there's no way to pay us, you're right. How do we pay you? Insert Patreon slogan here.
Okay, so what do you think? What are your thoughts this week? Looking grim.
This one's every time I want to believe. I
Always,
want there to be at least a good argument that it might agree, be alive. I got nothing.
That's the thing.
I think it's a cool story.
It's awesome.
The Mongol Tatar army getting taken down.
Eating a fucking
awesome.
Viking ship and
a plane.
An airplane.
Fucking Godzilla in Russia, dude.
Yes, it's awesome. It's cool as hell. But there's
so little evidence.
A very slippery rock to stand on.
Like I could fully buy the volcano hypothesis. Like if I saw a volcano erupt underwater and it did something similar to that,
a bunch out of the water too.
Yeah,
I'm guessing there's some heat involved in that as well. So like if the water like becomes like hazy and it's like starts to bubble and then you see something, yeah, like there's something going on there. Like I'd probably freak out.
I think that'd be super awesome to watch. But I can definitely see if you're not expecting that, or you don't, maybe it goes back so long that they didn't know that that's even a thing.
I just wanted to see one goddamn picture.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sick of seeing the drawings.
The drawings are fucking cool, but like I need some sort of like
picture evidence.
Everything
for sure.
is just like a dragon. It's a sea monster. It's a dragon. All the drawings of it are just, you know what I mean? It's like
you just drew a sea monster, man.
No, in no accounts did I ever see anything talking about it being bioluminescent, other than the fact that it was just like, yeah, it was described as bioluminescent.
It's the cools from the fucking lava. They cool down. They're red at the top.
It's fucking of the thing. When it reaches the surface, part of it's still hot, so then it's bobbing in and out, and it's kind of like
flickering,
glowing. Yeah, interesting. Okay,
I think that just shuts it down. Fucking Brosno dragon.
Well, but what I will say is a volcano at the bottom of the ocean at the bottom of the lake would create a warmer climate in the lake.
Yeah,
which would allow for a marine reptile maybe to live. Where at the beginning, where
it was 5 meters off the bottom. It's like basking in the sun for a lizard. You just go bask by the fucking
go down
volcano.
by the volcano where the vents or whatever. Yeah, and you'd hang out and you'd be able to warm your blood that way.
That is a compelling argument, sir. One that I did not think about as being too skeptical of the Brosno dragon. I like that theory a lot. I'm gonna think on that in a minute because
take a minute to think about that.
I'm gonna try to poke holes in it, but I just keep adding things that I think are plausible. Like, just goes down there to, rest, warm up, goes up to hunt, and that's when you see him.
So the only other thing that I have a problem with is if it is a reptile, it has to surface to breathe.
True. Cave underneath,
where it has access to air. Okay, so we also didn't mention anything about the lake, really, that it there's some way that it can connect to
somehow
the
connects
sea
to the ocean. You get like saltwater fish in there.
Kind of like landlocked. Like I looked at it on a map and it doesn't look like it's very near the ocean.
No,
but somehow saltwater fish get in there and can live there or something. So like there's some access to other bodies of water. So I guess it could be traveling betwixt.
Oh, a nice word. Betwixt. I want a Twix now. This show is not brought to you by Twix.
Damn, if fucking Twix wanted to sponsor this episode.
I would get so fat on Twix.
Okay, but they're about the left side, right side thing, and we're always talking about getting off the fence on the end of the episode.
So which Twix side are you on? Twix, where are you at? Which Twix side are you on, dude? But yeah, off the fence. I'm off the fence.
It's a no.
Yeah, left side Twix.
I would fucking love to get a Twix sponsorship out of this somehow, Connor. If we can make that happen, it'd be fucking phenomenal. I'm not sure how I feel about my language though.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement. There's some compelling things to it. But I do like the volcano. That seems like maybe some sort of explanation that could be like not as much for modern times, but you're not really seeing any real stories. I get also everywhere it's just like there's all kinds of like modern day sightings and eyewitness stuff and everybody's talking about it, but I'm not seeing any of it anywhere. So maybe it's all getting posted in Russian. Right. Or like under some name that isn't associated with it on Google, so there's not like a crossover in the search results or anything. Like I don't.
Maybe it's covered up by Putin.
It's okay. So the one thing that I thought of as well when we were talking about it being bioluminescent was that it was some sort of government created
USO.
No, not like a craft, but like an animal. That was like some sort of experimentation.
Escape from the lab. It's hanging out and eating horses for fucking ever.
See, but that's the thing. Is like when it was eating horses, that was a long time ago.
13th century.
Yeah, so there's like this these crazy government conspiracies back
it's an
before
alien
like
government
when
conspiracy.
It's like nomadic tribes.
Aliens dropped this fucking bioluminescent beast in the water and they're like, not our problem anymore.
All right. Okay, so I have a thought I want to pose to you then.
Pose.
I assume you're familiar with the concept of panspermia.
Yes.
Which is like an asteroid containing some form of bacterial life or another would like crash into a planet or like break up in the atmosphere or whatever, and that life would then
DNA or RNA,
whatever it is would exist then on that planet, and then slowly would evolve into like from a single cell organism into like a two cells, or you know what I mean, just like slowly evolve into whatever. So like, do you think that just happens? Not like panspermia, because like I feel like that's probably real. But what I'm saying is like, if that is like how like life in the world started, does like asteroids just hit planets all the time that contain these things, and start like new things can just like kind of pop up and be created here and there?
It takes millions of years.
Yeah.
I don't know that it wouldn't interbreed with life on Earth.
So you're saying like with the existence of life as it is now, there's no way that it would would get to a point where it would get eaten at a stage before that it would be able to get to there, or it would not survive in the environment that it was in, or it would take advantage of the existing things in the environment, in the ecosystem, the same way that life that we know has, and kind of just become like an offshoot of something that we would already know.
The life that we know is formed to the environment.
Yes.
And so even if it did evolve separately, I mean, you got to DNA test everything, but I don't know if you can, like, I don't know. I'm not a scientist for the third time this episode. I like the idea. Definitely a brain teaser.
I would say it's a cool movie plot, but now I'm almost kind of wondering if that's not the plot to the first Men in Black movie.
I don't know.
Not directly, but like the spaceship lands and it's the big like the bug guy, and then he takes over the other dude, and then like makes a bunch more bug guys. It's not quite the same, but like it's.
I see where you're coming from.
I need a Will Smith reference for the episode, so.
Always Will Smith. It's interesting. I want to go there with an interpreter. I need some interpretation from like the people that live there to put me over the edge. Like, describe what you fucking mean.
Do you or someone you love? Has you or someone that you love spent some time in Russia? Do you or someone you love speak Russian? Now's your chance to tell me what the fuck I need to know.
Call now.
I don't have a number.
Receive your
But
claim.
yes, that social media. Find us on there. You can send us that way, or countingcryptids@hotmail.com. Links for the email and social media are in the description and will be at the end of the episode.
Yes.
Which is coming up, which is rapidly approaching.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the next segment. Who we think, if the Brosno dragon was a real creature,
And a mermaid swam up there.
who would win?
Mermaid, Brosno dragon.
See, that's the problem with mermaid is I don't think of them as like
Malevolent,
very ferocious. Like the thing with a mermaid being scary is like it has some claws and some teeth, maybe.
And a trident, maybe.
I don't really think of like a mermaid as being
They haven't
spear. Yeah, like I don't think of
They
them as
haven't
like
gone
using
past the
tools.
Stone
Really,
Age
I don't.
yet?
Not in my mind, man. I think of them as a fish that just like you know what I mean, like maybe a
More
little bit more
animal.
intelligent than a fish, but not like you know, what do you
Yeah.
make the spear out of?
I'm sure there's stuff under there.
How do you do metal working underwater?
By a lava plume? Boom!
Okay, what do you have to put something that isn't going to melt, something that is going to melt inside of something that isn't going to melt, and then pour that into a mold.
You could do that.
Not underwater.
It would.
You can't. You'd have to be so close to it that you would be melted in the process.
Something that our technology on land hasn't accomplished yet.
I think you're assuming a little bit too much of them in this instance.
I think they just find shit in the ocean. There's tons of trash. I bet there's a sword in the ocean. If not a lot of swords in the ocean, dude. They just pick up swords. They got swords.
All right, so we have to do an episode
Roman swords.
on Roman swords in the ocean now. Apparently, I'm sure there's a sword or two in the ocean. That's fine. I can agree with that, but
They're attacking the Brosno dragon with antiquity swords, and they're rusted to shit.
I think I don't have a ton of description on the Brosno dragon other than it's like
He can eat a plane.
it can eat a plane. It's covered in scales. It is like a
Glows.
dinosaur or a dragon-looking thing with like a snake head or a fish head. I
think
kind of feel like it would just swallow the mermaid. Like
Yeah.
if it's a fish head, it's just gonna unhinge its jaw in like a quarter of a second, go, and it's just like
Bomb gone.
it has inhaled the space where the fucking
There's an air bubble.
swallowed. Yeah, there's an air bubble where it was. Yeah, I would say Brosno dragon probably. I don't think it would take many of the mermaid.
Correct. If it was a
Working
pack
together?
thing, I
I
think
started
mermaid
saying
can do it.
what makes a mermaid scary to me is that it is in a different plane. Like it's in a completely different universe.
Oh, absolutely.
So like if I were encountering one, it would be like on the water's edge or in the water where I would be at a significant disadvantage against one of them. And like as a human being, I have like zero defense mechanisms built in as far as like teeth, claws, anything.
Again, bring your harpoon to the ocean.
You just fucking stay away from the water. That's all.
I would like to change our our view on the water. I want to like the water.
You want to like the water?
I want to like it.
It's
Luke Luck
nice
licks
to admire
lakes.
from afar.
Luke Luck licks lakes. Luke's duck licks lakes. Luke Luck licks lakes. Luke's Luck's lakes.
What the fuck are you having a
Dr.
stroke? What is
Dr.
happening?
Seuss. Dr. Seuss quote there.
It's a good way to end the show, I guess.
No.
A nice Dr.
Jesus.
Seuss quote.
Yeah, now it's time for the 1v1 results. Play that funky music, white boy.
All right. All right, so
The results are in.
for which fight?
The previous one.
Oh, perfect. Is that Kraken and Mermaid? Is that
Tis
what
the
was on
Kraken
social media? Okay.
and tis the mermaids.
What did the people think?
The people across the board voted for the Kraken, as we also were on that side.
Good. So I know Mermaids was ahead for like a little while, and it kind of concerned me.
It was tied for quite a bit on Twitter.
I was a little confused, but
Kraken broke
whatever.
away.
I mean, I'm sure it's whatever.
Yeah, 60-40 on both Twitter and Facebook. So I was actually a little bit interested to see that there was some mermaid votes.
Yeah, definitely.
And we talked about there being, a pack of mermaids or a group. Yeah, I'm Kraken side.
I'm sure mermaids have speed on their side in this scenario.
Yeah, but similar to the Megalodon versus Kraken, you're just not doing enough.
Yeah. Again, I think the Megalodon would have taken a mermaid, so it's just using the transitive property. I can't then have the Megalodon who would.
If A equals
the Kraken
B,
who would. Yeah, exactly.
And B equals C, then A equals C.
But if A is greater than if A is less than B and B is greater than C.
Algebra. Thanks for checking out this week's episode.
If you want to get your 2 cents in, answer this week's polls on social media.
You can find us on Twitter at Count Cryptid or Counting Cryptids on Facebook.
If you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, or you just want to chat, you can email us at countingcryptids@hotmail.com.
Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and tell your friends.
He's been Connor.
He's been Jacob.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks for another fascinating installment of Counting Cryptids.